The movie opens in a new world and we see a ship floating on large dunes. The ship is heading to the lighting tower and the sand monsters Diablos start chasing them. On the ship, a man named Hunter sharpens his weapon, and the monster Diablos attacks them. The captain flies to change the direction, but the ship rises upwards. People hang with the ship's ropes to avoid falling, but one of them is directly hit by the monster's horn. When the ship flips over, the gallon inside hits Hunter and he falls off the ship. Back in our world, United States Army Captain Natalie Artemis with her team is searching for missing soldiers Team Bravo. She hears their last call for help, but then a soldier named Marshall informs her we've found something on the missing Team Bravo. Artemis orders her team to follow the tracks and soon they reach the disappearance location of Team Bravo. Artemis asks Sergeant Link, "What did you find?" and he shows her their tracks. She's confused to see and says the team had 4-ton trucks, they cannot disappear like that. They notice a huge lightning storm coming toward them. Seeing this, Artemis says, the Bravo team reported a storm in their last transmission. They quickly start to leave, but they are trapped inside the storm, where some markers start glowing and lightning strikes. They fall into the large hole and their vehicles flip over and over again until they reach inside that new world. They come from the vehicles one by one and are shocked to see the dunes. Artemis orders Axe to set up an observation point and Steeler to run DPV. Marshall says the GPS and radio are destroyed due to the lighting. Then they find the up-armored vehicles of the team's Bravo. They move ahead only to see the burned bodies of the soldiers, which is also difficult to identify. Seeing this, they start checking the place and find nothing but striking corpses and empty bullet shells. After they leave, Axe tries to contact the base, but the radio is out of order. Hunter, who is keeping an eye on them, and fires a warning signal. Seeing this, they open fire on the Hunter, but Artemis, it's just a warning, and cease fire. A sand monster is approaching and the team quickly drives and opens fire on the monster. But the monster attacks and their bullets do not affect it. The monster picks up Steeler with his horn to eat him, but Steeler throws bombs into his mouth. The bomb blasts, but it doesn't matter for the monster. The rest of the team tries to hide in the rocks. Now Hunter also arrives and shoots the monster with arrows. The team gets inside the cave, and while trying to get inside, monster's horn breaks and leaves. Later, Sergeant Davis says the light took us somewhere else and we need to get back home. Artemis tells her to calm down and says we are soldiers and it's our job to fight. A cave spider attacks Artemis with its sting and Link shoots it in the eye, causing it to drop Artemis and run away. When Link and Marshall try to reawake her, then more spiders arrive. They leave Artemis and run to save their lives. Hunter sees them in trouble and shoots a spider, killing some of them, but then the spider attacks Marshall and eats him alive. Artemis regains consciousness and tries to walk, but the spider attacks on her again. She comes out from the spider web, and she is horrified and scared more after seeing her team dead. When she tries to get out, she observes that she is in the large spider web. She lights a flare and reaches near the eggs of the spider, where she finds Sergeant Link. Link is also injured and they both start moving while the spider also follows them. As they approach the exit, another spider attacks. Link removes his shirt to see spider eggs inside his chest, then spider kills Link. Artemis attack on spider with flare and oxygen spray, which causes the spider to stay back. As he approaches the exit, the spider pulls her back again. She throws bullets at the spider and comes outside. While she sits outside, more spiders try to get her, but due to the harsh sunlight, they can't attack her. After seeing her wedding ring, she urges herself to fight, and then she pours bullet powder on her wounds. She reaches the cliff and throws a stone, hearing the stone Diablo monster come out from the sand. She hides and the monster leaves from there. Then she moved forward and found a lot of destroyed boats and battleships. She gets inside the ship, where Hunter puts a knife on her neck, telling her to drop her weapon. After dropping the knife, she attacks the Hunter, punching him a couple of times. Then Hunter kicks her off, but Artemis stabs him with a knife. He then knocks her out with a flying kick. The Hunter then ties her hands and leads her into the safe tunnel. The next day, Hunter goes outside to check on the monster, and when comes back, Artemis knocks him off. The fight ensues again, both of them showing each other their fighting skills, but Hunter falls inside the spider hole. Smelling their food, spiders reach toward him, but Artemis pushes him outside and unties his hands. She then gives him chocolate, and after eating it, he gives her water. Hunter then shows her the lighting tower and tells her we need to get there. She sees the monster and asks him to take a weapon from the jeep, but the Hunter takes her back to the spider's cave. He tells her to kill the monster. We need a monster. She starts singing and a vicious spider comes out. She runs hard and they trap the spider. Then the Hunter cuts the spider's head and teeth to make poison to kill Diablos. They get back into the cave and Artemis tries to communicate with him, while outside 100 of the spiders are trying to get into their cave. Hunter makes a weapon with the spider's poison, an arrow of the spider's teeth, and a grenade of its poison. Hunter teaches her some fighting skills and gives her fire blades. They throw a drum in the sand to attract the monster, and the monster starts chasing them. Hunter runs in a different direction to distract the monster, and when the monster comes out from the sand, Hunter shoots him in the eye. The monster writhes in pain and its tail hits the hunter, knocking him down, and Artemis on the other hand uses a machine gun to attack the monster. The monster runs to Artemis and she launches an RPG, but the monster hits her, causing the vehicle to flip a couple of times. Just before the monster attacks again on her, the hunter stabs the poison blade in the head of the monster. But the monster throws him and he hits with a car. Artemis then shoots and the arrow hits his horn, causing her to land on the monster's head. She plunges the blade further into his brain, causing the monster to hit the rocks in agony and fall to his death. She goes to see the unconscious Hunter, then she takes off the monster's skin and lays Hunter on it, leaving for the lighting tower. At night, the strong wind of the desert surrounds them, and exhausted Artemis covers herself with a blanket and administers first aid to the Hunter. In the morning she pulls herself out of the sand and the Hunter regains consciousness. Then they start their journey and reach an island, where they see Apsaros animals like dinosaurs. Hunter breaks the grass and tells her that they are herbivores animals. Artemis tells him she needs water, and when runs toward the pond, monster attacks her, but the Hunter kills the monster again and uses her as bait. They set a camp and cook some food. Then at night, another monster, Rathalos, attacks on Apsaros and all the animals run. Artemis falls and the ship captain arrives, saving her from the animals and running them away with the fire. Artemis raises her blades and joins him while the Hunter reaches the dead end but is saved by his old ship crew. When Artemis says thanks to the ship's captain, he punches her, making her unconscious. She wakes up in a cell chained up, but the Hunter ignores her. Then she breaks the lock and gets inside the ship's kitchen. When she tries to move, she is stopped by a cat named Palico, who is a chef and companion of the ship's captain. Then the ship's captain unlocks her handcuffs and she asks him how she got here and demands answers. He shows her a book and says at the peak of the mountain lies the Sky Tower, which is a remnant of an ancient civilization. The ancient civilization was very dangerous and they could travel between both worlds, that's why they built the Sky Tower. Artemis asks him what happened with the civilization and he explains they destroyed themselves, their technology turned them on. He says the gates are open between two worlds and we are on our way to investigate the tower, but Diablos attacks us that night and we lose Hunter. Captain tells them the ancients use monsters to protect the tower like Diablos and Rathalos. Artemis agrees to help kill the Rathalos so she can return home. In the ensuing battle, Artemis falls through the portal, returning to the real world. The portal doesn't close in time, and the Rathalos emerge and begin wreaking havoc. Artemis can slow it down long enough for the Hunter to slip through the portal and deliver the fatal shot. Though she has the chance to stay, Artemis decides to go back to the new world and remain with the Hunters to protect the real world from other monsters. The Admiral approaches her, just before the appearance of another flying monster known as Gore Magala. He notes that as long as the portal remains open, there will always be the threat that monsters will pass through to the real world. Artemis concludes that finding a way to take down the Sky Tower is now their primary objective. In a mid-credits scene, Palico, the Admiral's companion, arrives to help fight the Gore Magala, while an ominous cloaked figure observes the battle from the top of the tower. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to watch more videos like this.